What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to check out the Tempest Cup, take a look at the early meta that might start to form, and then go ahead and jump into some battles with Tempest Cup Pokemon. We're going to go ahead and head into pvpoke.com, which is the resource that I use when it comes to choosing my team for a tournament. So we're going to go ahead and head right over to the website. And the first thing we want to take a look at is we're going to go into the rankings. Now, these rankings are not necessarily going to be the best Pokemon you can use, but they definitely give you a good idea. So we go ahead and sort by Tempest Cup. We take a look at a first of the few Pokemon. And right away, what I notice is that Lapras being at the top with a water ice type Pokemon is going to perform really well. And I also see a lot of other water ice type Pokemon and water ground type Pokemon in here. If we're going to see a lot of ice Pokemon in this tournament and a lot of steel Pokemon, a lot of ice, a lot of steel, my number one pick that's going to be what you don't see on this list is going to be Charizard. And this is why, guys. Charizard with a fast move of Fire Spin and the Community Day move Blast Burn, while also having Dragon Claw, you can do a lot of different things with him. First of all, he's going to hit a lot of these ice type Pokemon very hard. He's also going to be able to take care of Tropius, Torterra. He's going to take care of Skarmory. He's going to take care of Steelix, Galee, Mamoswine, Piloswine, possibly Whaleren, depending on what move he has, but I think Whalen's going to roll with Waterfall. So he can take care of those Pokemon with Fire Spin, Blast Burn. And then on top of that, if you unlock second charge move for Dragon Claw, he's going to be able to cover Altaria, which if we scroll down, Altaria is 19 on this list. So I don't imagine a lot of people will use Altaria because it's going to be weak to ice, extremely weak to ice, being a dragon flying Pokemon. So definitely my underdog pick for this tournament is going to be Charizard. Now, going straight from the list, what Pokemon do I think are going to be good? We're going to go ahead, definitely think Lapras. Lapras is going to perform well, and I think Piloswine with Powder Snow Avalanche is going to be a crazy good anchor Pokemon, where last Pokemon on the team, he can get avalanches off very quickly because it's really hard hitting move. I also think Tropius could perform really well, as Razor Leaf does an exceptional amount of damage as a fast move, and he's going to completely eliminate Pokemon like Whiscash that a lot of people will reuse from the Boulder Cup, and Pokemon like Quagsire. He might have trouble with Lapras. I think he'll be able to do a lot of good damage against Lapras, but if the enemy Lapras does have any ice moves, whether it's an Ice Beam, Ice Shard as a fast move, you may have some problems. I know my Lapras personally does have Ice Shard and Ice Beam. But yeah, definitely some really good Pokemon in this tournament, and I think it's going to heavily revolve around the ice water type Pokemon. And I think another good pick is definitely going to be Lantern with a water electric type Pokemon. So yeah, this is definitely a good resource for you guys to use to take a look at what Pokemon you have available and what Pokemon or what rank they fall into here. Now, to start things off, this is the team that I am working with right now. These are the Pokemon that I think are going to do well that I do have available. So I got a Lapras, a Piloswine, Charizard, Lantern, Tropius, and Rhyperior. Now, as you notice, these Pokemon aren't actually fully leveled up, so I'm going to go ahead and use the ones that I do have leveled up. So I'm going to start off with a Lapras as my lead, Charizard and Rhyperior as my backups. I'm going to go ahead and lead with Lapras, and she leads with a Tropius. So I know right here, I'm going to try to see how well I do, but I'm just going to get out of there because I do have a Charizard. So my Charizard is going to be do super effective damage, and she brings an Altaria, so I'm just going to Dragon Claw spam. Get this first one off. She does block it, but I'm able to get a second one off. So we'll see how much damage this actually does. And it does quite a good amount of damage for not a lot of charge time cost. So she's go ahead and does a Sky Attack here. We're going to block that. go right into another Dragon Claw, hoping to burn a second shield or take her out. So we do burn the second shield, but she takes down Charizard. So I'm going to go ahead and go right back into Lapras, as Altaria is double weak to Ice type moves. We're going to go ahead and soak this Sky Attack. And as you can see, Lapras is very tanky, so it's going to be able to take a Sky Attack, whether it's from a Skarmory or an Altaria. Now we're waiting on the next Pokemon, but she is lagging just a little bit. That's alright. It is Tropius again. So we're going to go ahead and get off this Ice Beam. I think we're going to pull the final... Nope, she doesn't block it, and Tropius is gone. But now we're versus Piloswine. And Piloswine is, I think, a Pokemon that is going to be an amazing anchor for the fact that Powder Snow and Avalanche hit so hard. So we do get that Ice Beam off, and it looks like she's saving energy. Now this is bad. I'm going to go ahead and shield this because Ice is going to do super effective damage to Rhyperior. But then she has another Avalanche ready to go. And oh my goodness, guys. Avalanche absolutely destroys Rhyperior. So GG there to the wife for taking the first win in the Tempest Cup against me. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the second game. I'm going to go ahead and lead with Lapras this time. I'm going to have Lantern as my second and Charizard as my anchor. Now I have Charizard there on the far right hand side for quick swaps, and she leads with a Piloswine. So I'm going to go ahead and see how much damage we actually do to each other, because this is all testing. This is all trying to figure out what the meta is. She swaps into Tropius, so I'm going to go ahead and get off this Ice Beam, and she's going to have to block. So she does block that Ice Beam, but she's doing so much damage to me that I want to get out of there right away. I go straight into Charizard, and I know this is going to be a Leaf Blade, so I don't block it. Not very effective, so that's very good. And we're just going to store energy here. And this is where Charizard shines. On a quick swap in, having a lot of stored energy because there's so much damage there. So we go ahead and get the second shield, and we're going to go right into the Blast Burn. And shout out to Best in the West. He is another YouTuber, guys, and oh my goodness, that Blast Burn just destroyed Zapdos. We're going to go ahead and block this Avalanche and just get another quick attack off to Piloswine. So right there, guys, I think it was a great showcase for Charizard for the fact that if you time it well, just like a Toxicroak, it can actually sweep through teams. So moving on to the next game, guys, I'm going to go ahead and lead with a Piloswine this time. Now, my Piloswine doesn't have Avalanche as a charge move, but that's okay because I am out raiding, trying to get some charge TMs for this tournament. And thankfully, we've seen this tournament far in advance before it actually starts, so we have time to kind of build up our roster and go collect TMs for the Pokemon that we want to use. I'm also going to use Lantern. Now this Lantern doesn't have Thunderbolt. It does have Hydro Pump. I do decide to swap out Lantern though for Lapras last minute, and we're going to go ahead and use Charizard as well. So getting right into it, lead in with Piloswine, and she has Tropius. So I'm curious how this will work out, and it looks like both of us are doing heavy quick attack damage to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of there right at the perfect time before she uses a Leaf Blade. So my Charizard can absorb it, and then my Charizard's going to finish off Tropius. So a big threat is off the table already, and we have a Dragon Claw ready to go. Now she brings in her Charizard. So we go ahead and use Dragon Claw, and it did a decent amount of damage there. And we're going to go ahead and get another Dragon Claw off. And my wife's Charizard doesn't have Dragon Claw on it yet. So I know that her move that she's going to be using here is Blast Burn. So a little bit of cheating, but you know, that's alright. It's practice. So go ahead and get another Dragon Claw off here to burn her second shield. So she is out of shield, so I'm very happy in this position. Going to go ahead and let Charizard go down to Blast Burn. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in Lapras. And Lapras is going to be able to two-shot the Charizard very quickly. Now she has Cast Form. And Cast Form's a unique Pokemon where literally was never ever going to be used in the game. It was just one of those things you collected if you happen to have that weather. But it has its potential in this cup right now. And with a fast move of Powder Snow and a charge move of Ice Beam, it's actually going to do very well. So we go ahead and get off a few Ice Beams here to finish off Cast Form, and we're going to go ahead and move into the next match. So as you guys saw right there, Charizard did well again, and then Tropius can hit hard against a lot of the ground type Pokemon and the water type Pokemon. And Piloswine being a ice ground, it is going to take super effective damage from the Tropius. Now moving on to the next match, I'm going to go ahead and change up the team a little bit. I think I'm going to lead with Piloswine again. I'm going to throw in Lantern there, and I'm going to have Charizard again as a fast swap into if she does happen to lead with that Tropius. But I do swap around Piloswine for Lantern. Go ahead and get right into the battle. Now she leads with an Altaria. And Altaria is one of those Pokemon where it's going to do very, very well. It's going to do very, very bad because right here I bring in Piloswine. Now granted, I don't have Avalanche, but I do have Powder Snow. We're going to see how much damage this Powder Snow is doing to Altaria. So I go ahead and I'm going to shield this next Sky Attack because I want to keep my Piloswine alive because I have a lot of energy stored right here. So I can burn a few shields. So she brings in Alolan Ninetales, which Alolan Ninetales is pretty good for the Twilight Cup, and it's a Pokemon you can reuse again for this tournament. So we're going to go ahead and get a Bulldoze off and a second Bulldoze off to do a lot of damage to this Alolan Ninetales. Now she uses a Dazzling Gleam, so Piloswine does go down, but I'm going to bring in Charizard. And Charizard with Fire Spin, going to take out Ninetales very quickly and have a lot of energy stored up. Now she brings in Alolan Dugtrio, which I think is a kind of an interesting Pokemon, but I feel that with the ground steel type, it's going to take heavy damage from fire. So as you saw there, Fire Spins completely eliminated Dugtrio. So GG. And once again, we see that Charizard is a good Pokemon for this tournament. Moving into the final round, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to lead with my Charizard, and I'm going to have Rhyperior as a fast swap. So getting right into the battle, we got Charizard versus Articuno. So I know already Charizard is going to do very well with the fact that his Fire Spin is going to hit really hard. But she does swap out into a Zapdos. So I'm going to use a Dragon Claw here to try to burn a shield. We do get the shield, and I'm going to swap into Rhyperior because, guys, watch this. Rhyperior with Smackdown absolutely destroys the legendary birds, guys. And the legendary birds are going to be Pokemon you may see in this tournament because people have access to them. People think they're legendary Pokemon. They're going to do very well, and rightfully so. They could do very well. But that's what Rhyperior is for, guys. Look at this Smackdown. Literally, the move is named after what it's doing to this legendary lineup. It's smacking down that team. Rhyperior just went 1v3 against the legendary birds with Smackdown. So just goes to show you that just because it's a legendary Pokemon doesn't mean that it's going to be the best option for this tournament. So I hope this video helped you guys get a look at what is available in the Tempest Cup and gives you kind of a range of Pokemon that you could use that will do very well. So there's still a lot of testing that needs to be done, and a meta will soon come to light. But as of right now, it could be anything, but I do think that Pokemon that will be good will definitely be Lapras. It'll be Pokemon with Razor Leaf as a fast move, whether you have a Tropius or an Abomasnow. And then it's going to be Pokemon that can help cover those Ice-type Pokemon. So a Charizard with Blast Burn is a great choice. And then if people do end up going along the lines of a legendary team with the legendary birds, having a Rhyperior on your team with Smackdown is something great to have. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.